All right, so we are about to begin. You're good? You ready?
I was born ready.
Oh, man. Good guy. All right, welcome everybody to the ultimate SNF and ALF podcast. So excited to have you guys here. Today we have a very special treat. We have a champion, a superstar in the making, and his name is Mr. Ryan Harris. He comes from an incredible company, Solstice Senior Living, and what these guys do is they take care of people in the best possible way. Ryan is he's a senior director of sales and marketing for the company. He's a champion. He has a great story. In today's podcast, we're going to be talking about his story. We're going to be talking about marketing, how to market facilities and communities in the best way. And we're going to be talking about some of the challenges that the industry is facing today. So thank you so much for joining us, Ryan. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I like your energy, and I was showing some people around the office. They everyone will know your name fairly soon, but cool. They definitely were like, "This guy's got the same energy as you have," and I was like, "I don't know, man. This guy, he's next level." So we appreciate that.
I appreciate that too, man. Do you actually have the little thing that I sent you today?
I got it. I got it right here.
Cool.
It's fantastic. Look at this thing.
Beautiful.
And
man.
You open it up, boom. Look at that. Nice.
Mr. Harris, how you doing? Berel Solomon here. I'm so excited.
Hey, I know
have my name on it. It's amazing. I love it. Personal.
Love it, man. Cool. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that love. I really appreciate that. So, Ryan, I just want to ask you a few questions for our viewers today because everybody wants to hear what you got to say. I just want to first ask you, how did you get started in the senior care market?
I would say I always tell people it's been about 9 years or so. I don't want to date myself, but I got started. My grandfather actually had Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. I didn't make the distinction between the two. I didn't know it was one and the same, and especially during the ice bucket challenge and all that most recently. So 9 years ago, he comes down with this horrible disease. It moved very fast, and so we had to look for a place. He's losing his motor skills. He's cognitively, it started with mild cognitive and then went to full on dementia. He knew I was family, but my Uncle Stuart, he thought I was my uncle. Right.
Wow.
So that was pretty tough going through that, seeing that. And that was 16 years ago. Sorry. And, so that's like kind of the first thing is, taking care of grandpa until we could find him basically a place where he could go and have the one-on-one. So took care of him. I took care of my dad, who was also sick and had a bone marrow disease. Yeah, and he was a teacher, and he was a landscape architect guy, and he didn't use gloves, and it got in his bloodstream, this benzene product, and he got very sick and ended up passing away too. So, taking care of my two favorite people, it just came naturally to me. I was working for radio at Intercom. I was doing promotions, and I just graduated with a sound engineering degree of all things. Because life is short, you should do what you want to do, and music was my passion. That still is. So the radio, it was looking pretty dim for a little bit. We have Pandora, we got iHeartRadio coming out, Spotify. Right. And so, I was talking to a guy, and the guy's like, "You're not going to make a lot of money unless you get into management." Going on and being a radio personality was something that I felt like I needed to do when I was younger. And he just took me aside and said, "Listen, I cannot pay for my kids' education for this and that." So anyways, I get into senior living. I take the first job I can get, right? And it's in the kitchen. Like, I'm serving tables. Like, this is years ago. And the one thing I wanted to do is I said, I'll take the job, as long as you guys promote from within, so I just kind of moved up the ranks over an extended period of time. So over 8 years, each year I was just doing a different job. And, most recently over the last few years, I've got into sales and excelled because I've always been, I was the guy, even though I wasn't a salesperson wasn't available, they'd come get me. And I was the driver, you know what I'm saying? Or a med tech. Or the engaged life director, which is like a activities director on steroids, right? And I was the one, I would go take them over to the apartments. I would sign them up. I'd have those hard conversations with family, the something needs to change conversations. And it's something I've been comfortable with. And so I've had the highest honor of helping out seniors and taking care of seniors for a long period of time. And it's something that I figured, if I'm going to do something, you got to be the best. And I love it.
Good for you, man. Good for you. And could you tell us some of some of your responsibilities, some of your roles over at Solstice right now? What you're charged with there?
Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah. Right. There's always what's in the job description, and then there's a little bit extra too. So what I really like about this is it's sales and marketing. So I set appointments. I meet with families. I go do home visits. I go to the skilled nursing facilities, or the SNFs, as we call them out here in the Wild Wild West. Hospitals, I go to their houses, things like that. So lots of visits, appointments. But my favorite thing is marketing and advertising, and actually what goes into the advertising. And I have what's really cool about the company that I'm currently working for, Solstice, is they give us autonomy. They don't tell us, well, you're running an ad here or you're doing this and that. They kind of let us do what we want to do. And that's what I went to school for. I mean, who can say that they went to school for something and actually use it these days? Like barely anybody.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So you're involved in the marketing. You're involved in client acquisition. You're involved in getting people into your facility, right? That's one of your tasks.
Any which way, any way I do it, as long as it's moral, as they say. And yeah, absolutely. I'm a census driver. Get this thing to 100% with a wait list. That's what any community could ask for. Absolutely.
Love that. And, I say all the time to our clients that, much more than a video production company, much more than an ads company or a video brochure company, we're a census-driven company, because at the end of the day, that's where everything starts and that's where everything ends, right? If there's no clients, if there's no residents, if there's no patients, nobody's getting the care and everything stops. So that's where everything begins.
Another thing too, what I really enjoy is, it's really important to be good to your employees, right? It's good to be good to your sometimes they become family. You work with these people, and so I'm nothing without my frontline staff. I'm nothing without my direct lines up, right? So what's the best way you can take care of somebody is make sure they have enough hours. Their hours don't get cut, so it's not just the residents that we affect, it's the employees that we affect in that way too. So, I make sure this place is full. We got enough hours for everybody. And then not only that, as it rolls, it's just like this effect, like a domino effect in a good way, where they can have enough money to take care of their family. So they can bank on that.
Good man. So take care of your people. I love it.
Absolutely.
So I want to ask you some questions here. So what have you seen is your best method for attracting new residents and new patients into your community?
The best method I would say are, you got to throw really large events every so often. So it's good to have little events here and there, and going and promoting it at the senior centers, and going and calling your industry friends, and going outside the box and inviting community people too, the churches, all those different things, and inviting them in. The one thing you want to do is you want to get somebody into your community. Yes. You want to get somebody into your business, or on the phone in a lot of cases too. I've done a tour with FaceTime and sold them from states away, and you just do what you have to do. And so getting in front of them, showing off what you have, showing off your culinary, that was my favorite thing. That's always my favorite thing, is obviously the food, right? People are going to come if you put food and drink in front of them. Yeah. So team up with the chef.
Oldest trick in the book.
Oldest trick in the book, baby. You sell with the food, right? Get something that they're going to want to come out for, and show off your best thing. Make sure that community's looking good, and get all your directors there, and have a good time. It's all good. That's benefits everybody.
So you'd say events is a strong way, one of your strongest attractors for residents, new patients?
Yeah. So one of the things too is the community that I'm currently in right now. My home base is Normandy Park. It's just outside of Seattle. A lot of the referrals actually come from the residents. So I take that marketing money and I have mixed events where I have some, industry folks come in. I have their family come in and, we throw a nice event for the residents on top of the other stuff going on. And we've had, about 6 friends of residents move in over the last 6 months. That's 20%, 15% of my business right there.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So also maintaining, there's the referral things too. Of course, you always want to grow things organically, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to pay for a referral source or anything like that. So that doesn't always happen for all communities. There's different sizes of communities. There's different, for skilled nursing, assisted living, memory care, all those different things too. The last thing sometimes if you get a qualified lead, right? Say it's a Place for Mom or caring.com or there's 1,000 different, sometimes they're referral agents
or they're census.
Right. So sometimes you got to pay for these qualified leads. They've already talked to them. They know that they can financially, they have the insurance, if it's skilled nursing or if it's assisted living or memory care, long-term care insurance, that their finances are, because these things are expensive. All of this costs lots of money.
Yeah.
I mean, it is not free.
No.
I mean, that is, you get what you pay for.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, man. Solid. So that's great. I want to ask you here's another question for you. What is the biggest problem that you are facing, getting a little personal here, that you are facing in terms of census that you're seeing?
Status quo. So, them staying at home. So it really, I was looking at your different podcasts, Crushing the Competitor and things like that. I love it. I love.
Oh, you saw that one. Busted. I'm busted.
Yeah, right. So how do we crush the competitor? How do we do that? The competitor is them staying at home and thinking they're safe right there. Oh, that's
very interesting, actually. I never had anyone say it. Your biggest competitor is them staying at home.
Yes. So
that's very, very, very intelligent, an intelligent point. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So what does that mean? Let's break that down. So they're at home. Yes, you can get in-home care. Yes, you can have home health come in and do those kind of things. Yes, you can get, let's go down the rabbit hole even further. Say you need an x-ray or like a urinalysis because you have a urinary tract infection, right? And that could cause major confusion.
Wow.
Just totally out of character. Oh, mom wasn't like this before. You can get all that done in the household, absolutely. But what happened, and you can have a companion one-on-one, but that's very spendy. So if you want to if you don't have the money to do that, you can come to a community, you can get the same exact thing done. It can be done in one of these atmospheres here where they have the nurse oversight, where they can get the care. Major thing, number one, socialization. Could you imagine if you went to work by yourself and didn't contact anybody all day at all?
Wow.
That would be horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So imagine waking up and just walking outside your apartment door and you got stuff going on, good stuff going on. You got seated exercise, chair chi. That's a thing. It's Tai Chi in the chair. You got
like that.
Right.
It's cool.
Yeah, you got trivia things going on. You can go on trips and all these different things, and you're socializing with these people, with all these layers of dimensions in there, to where they're gonna not be alone. They're gonna have stimulation, and they're using their brain.
Wow, I love that. That's very cool. So, biggest competitor is staying at home. You mentioned a Place for Mom. They're the elephant in the room. Or there's definitely other ones as well. How has your experience been with outside companies in terms of helping you guys build census?
Yeah, definitely some are better than others. And then also coming from California, working in Oregon, and then now in Washington, pretty much all along the West Coast there, there's a kind of a consensus that they are better in different regions for different companies. So, say caring.com is better down south in Southern California, and maybe a Place for Mom is a little bit better up here.
Well,
what am I saying there? I'm saying that, qualifying. So say somebody says, well, I really like a big library. I need to be close to the water. And then it has to be, I don't like this hospital. I like this hospital, whatever, specialists. Right. Sometimes they'll just get too many leads, and that's bad for the industry because they're really going to these people as the specialists saying, I have these 3 or 4 needs. These 4 things need to happen. Can you give me some communities, do the legwork so I can go and pre-qualify these communities for these families, like communities like mine, to where it's going to be a good fit because fit is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Totally agree with you. Cool. What would your number one advice be? I mean, you're head of sales and marketing. What is your number one advice to all the other people who are in sales and marketing in the SNF and the ALF industry?
I guess for the entire industry, what's like my biggest tip? I guess
for anybody in relating it that it relates to sales and marketing for ALFs and SNFs. Yeah, what is your number one advice you've accumulated over all of your years of experience?
Following up. So follow
Great.
through. And I feel like that's probably the biggest thing. If you don't call somebody back, if you say, I'm going to call you at 2:00 or I'm going to meet you here and that, just make sure you do it. You would be surprised who doesn't call people back. If you don't call somebody back, then that pretty much is telling them that we don't want your business or I'm too busy for you.
Wow. I love that. I love that advice because it's simple, it's actionable, and it's something that people could take for granted. It's not something fancy like geo-targeting and this and that.
Right.
Just follow up, return a phone call, be available, and follow up. In sales, I know it's a little bit different, but in sales, we have a saying that the money's in the follow-up. A lot of people get excited about that when that referral comes in and it's fresh and it's new. But any good salesperson knows or marketing person knows that it's in that second, third, fifth, sixth, 10th
12, yeah. 12? On average, 12 for a move-in. It's 12 communication, whether it's a text, an email, a call. 12 on
That's
average.
Huge. Yeah, because people could be getting incredible leads. Their lead source could be great. Their sales and marketing team are great at driving those leads. But if nobody's there following up and making bringing them home, then they're being wasted. So I love that. Simple, actionable. Thank you for that. And my last question to you here, Ryan, is, and this has been great, I'm really enjoying this and you've been awesome, is where do you see the future of the industry going in the next 5-10 years?
Yeah, I hear, I don't know, lots of different sources, 17 years, almost 20 years, it's supposed to be really good. I've heard that, there's literally only one other industry and it's warehouse fulfillment, like Amazon's and stuff like that. So senior living is literally the number 2 thing you could even invest in yourself right now, like a real estate investment trust. So it's huge right now. Jimmy Buffett's got his thing going down in Florida. He's got the weight.
When Jimmy gets in, it's time to get in.
Oh my God, right? Yeah. So literally, like, if you want to be ahead of the curve, you got to make these places fun. And 30 years ago, when you think of these places, like they called them all convalescent homes. I mean, they were all
terrible.
Places.
Terrible.
Yeah. Isn't that horrible? A place where you go to die? Why would you ever want to? Yeah. So whether it's a SNF, a skilled nursing facility, an assisted living community, independent living community where I'm at right now, or senior living, or some places are tri-level where it's independent, assisted, and memory care, and some of them even have the skilled nursing on the same campus. It's got to be fun. It has to be fun because we can do that. Why would you not make things fun? Why wouldn't you have some kind of attraction? You know what I'm saying? With activities and trips and just a little bit of variety. I mean, that's the ahead of the curve thing, and that's where we're going to see things go. And that's probably the most important thing to focus on, especially all these folks, getting into this game. Maybe they're coming from just straight real estate or other industries because it's lucrative right now. please, if you're out there, please make these places fun. It's
Awesome.
better for the salespeople. It's easier to market, funner to market. And imagine yourself living at these places. You want people saying, oh, you're going to so-and-so, you're going to that place, you're going to go to Solstice. I wish I could do that.
Wow.
Wow. That's what you want.
Beautiful, beautiful. There you have it, folks. You heard it from the man himself, Mr. Ryan Harris, Senior Director of Sales and Marketing at Solstice Senior Living. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. This has been amazing. If you guys need to reach out to him, you can find him on LinkedIn, Ryan Harris, super available. Anywhere else you would like for them to follow you?
Nope, that's it, man. Just you can find me on LinkedIn right now. And otherwise, I just got a bunch of family stuff on the Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome. Let's keep it LinkedIn. All right, man. Thank you so much for your time again. Looking forward to God willing working with you guys in the future. And let's keep the industry strong. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. You guys have a great one.
All right, man. Be well.
All right, you too. Bye.